to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Next is the 2025-2026 budget hearing by Chris Schomburg.
Feels like we just did this a couple months ago. Thank you very much. So I have about 30 slides, so I'm going to try to be concise and get us out of here before 9:30. But I am going to try to do this in about 30 minutes or so. Can everybody hear me?
He needs it for the live.
He needs you at the mic.
Okay.
It's a hard vote.
Well, this just feels weird. Okay. Oh, really? All right, here we go. It's open mic night here at Bethalto Schools. Can you hear me now? Okay. So I will try to do this in about 30 minutes or less. So if there's any questions by the board, more than likely I will answer them as we go through it. But if there's still some at the end of slide 30, then please let me know. First, we want to start with our mission. Eagle Nation does whatever it takes to create high levels of learning through a positive culture and diverse experiences that foster all students' social well-being and academic success within a safe and inclusive learning environment. Our strategic goals, always good to have goals. We want to be able to retain 95% of our staff annually and fill our open positions with qualified staff. Number two, we want to make sure that we ensure continuous improvement of our student and staff's social, emotional well-being. Number three, become a successful PLC by providing staff with PD and time for collaboration as measured by student achievement data. We want to increase and extend learning opportunities for our students by 50%, and we want to decrease the chronically absent students from 28% to 7% or less as measured on the Illinois State Report Card. Back. And our guiding principles. We want to provide competitive salaries, benefits, and working conditions to attract and retain outstanding personnel. We want to keep our class sizes manageable. We want to provide adequate support services for our students and faculty. We want to maintain and improve our physical facilities. We want to maintain a safe and healthy educational environment, provide an efficient transportation system, maintain positive fund balances in all of our operating funds, maintaining fiscal transparency, and we want to responsibly monitor the tax rate. So after getting through all that, we have our budget overview. So the way that I have this set up is we're going to have an overview, then we'll get into revenue, and then we'll get into expenditures. So our operating funds are these four funds: education, operations and maintenance, transportation, and working cash. Those are the four funds that the state really drills down and wants us to monitor. That is also how they determine, among other things, our cash on hand. That was a question that the Finance Committee asked. How many days cash on hand do we have? 10 years ago, I was told it was 26 days at this point, or at the 1st of July. At this point right now, we have over 205 days cash on hand. For a reference, we have our 24 pay employees, our 12-month employees. We have 261 work days in the calendar. So we've come a very long way in 10 years. And we also have, there's 4 levels that were ranked by ISB, and we have the highest level ranked on the 4th level, which is the highest level. I believe that's commendation? Recognition, sorry. So, but as you can tell, revenue is higher than our expenses. I take an extremely conservative look at our, when I put together the budget. Our expenses, I tend to overestimate a little bit, and our revenue, I underestimate a little bit, and I'm hopeful that by June 30th, we come in better than the budget. So here are all of our funds. We have education, O&M, debt service, that is If you remember from previous presentations, that's how we pay our debt, our long-term debt. We have transportation, our retirement and Social Security fund, our working cash. You'll see expenses are at zero from working cash. That's because nothing can be spent directly out of Fund 70. Everything has to be borrowed to another fund, and that's only by board action, and then it's expended. And then we have our tort fund. I broke out the Health Life Safety Fund. That is also called the Fire Safety Fund, depending on the age of the document that you're reading. The revenue side is the taxes that we levied for this school year, that almost $184,000. The $1.15 million includes the bonds that were sold to help finance the Parkside, Trimpe, well, actually all of the 5-year plan. So that it was making everything look kind of wonky, and I wanted to make sure that we were transparent about that, where that money was coming from. So really a vast majority of that $1.15 million went towards Parkside this year already. I believe, if memory serves, from about a month ago, it was $850,000. So Parkside is almost nearly completely paid for. I believe there's maybe about $60,000 left, and those bills are coming in. Our program highlights. So some of the things to look forward to this year. We're going to continue to fund the expanded support services for students and staff, particularly in the areas of academic and social emotional behavior support throughout the district. So these were previously funded through ESSER funds, federal ESSER funds, but these are important, and we were able to keep them on this year, while some of the other ESSER fund expenses we were able to sunset. Completion of the major construction of Parkside, which I just talked about. We are winding down our 5-year plan. We're going to continue to invest in student access to technology in all of our schools. And we're going to continue the emphasis on layered support through the MTTSS process. So making sure that students have what they need to be successful in class. So I like to compare apples to apples. And this chart is kind of a step in that direction. There are 12 school districts here, and I kind of organize them by student population. The top 4 are the largest districts in Madison County. The middle 4 are the ones that are pretty close to us in student population and number of buildings. And then the bottom 4 are smaller districts that surround us or are in Madison County. So all the information that I put towards this presentation can be verified on the Illinois Interactive Report Card. It says 2024. That's because the Interactive Report Card isn't updated till about October. So some of the slides that I used in the amended budget, that is still the most recent data, so it's going to appear in here. But if you ever want to take a glance on Triad, Highland, or Jersey school districts to compare their budget to ours, you'll see that we are very much in line with them. So revenue per pupil, this is a recycled slide like I just said. We are able to do more with less. We do not have a lot of commercial growth. We don't have heavy industry. We don't have a refinery. We are really reliant on our residential tax base. So you'll see the difference between Alton and Collinsville. Our students, we have a lot of, there is a lot more revenue towards the top of that compared to the bottom. About $4,000 is the differential, and then it gets even wider. So our expenses per pupil. Once again, we are in that bottom half. It's just another way of saying that we do more with less with our revenue. So and another way to say it is we stretch our money to get the most out of giving our students the most that we can. We have lower class size at the elementary level. We have lots of opportunities for our students at Civic Memorial and Trimpe Middle School, and we're still able to keep those costs low.
What was the difference on the two? The last slide was 13. Was that what you're trying to compare? It was like 400, 300. Oh, there you go. 255. 400 like this.
Mhm.
So what we're spending on.
Whoop.
Thank you, Chris.
So, but once again, you can see that a lot of our same districts that I compared to, Jersey, Highland, and Triad, are all in that bottom half as well. So we must be doing something similar to what they're doing to be in that same ranking. So now we're going to jump into revenue. So our revenue comes from three sources: local, which is our tax base; state, which is primarily evidence-based funding; and federal, which is primarily our IDEA special education grant and our title grant. We'll talk more about that in a minute. I did want to draw this distinction between FY25 and FY26. Federal revenue is in the red, state revenue is blue, and purple is our local revenue. So you'll see just how much smaller our federal revenue is just by a quick visual. And because it's out of 100%, the local revenue and the state revenue grow a little bit on the pie chart, but not as much as what the visual is. So it's really telling how much that ESSER money has fallen off. This is another recycled slide, but it's still true. Our EAV here in Bethalto has risen year over year since 2020, coming out of the pandemic. That is a good thing. You want your equalized assessed value on your home to go up. That means that it is a popular place to move to. That means that it is a desirable place. So we must be doing something right as a school community and as a Bethalto community. If, on the other hand, your EAV is going down, that is a bad sign. That means you can't sell your home if you want to move. It means that something's not going right in your community, and that's going to impact your tax base. It's going to impact your schools. It's just not good. So having a rising EAV is where you want to be. Our state revenue highlights. Good news is that our evidence-based funding rose by about $400,000 this year to a grand total of $16 million. We are currently at Tier 1, which you would think, oh, that's great. It does help that we get the most money. 75% of all school districts in Illinois are considered Tier 1. So we do get the highest amount of funding. Tier 4, you receive minimal funding. And typically, not 100%, but most of those school districts are up near Chicago in the counties that are at Tier 4, and they get the minimum amount of state aid. What Tier 1 means when they say 74% of adequacy, that means that the state considers that we are able to fund 74% of what they feel is needed to educate our students, and the rest they make up for. And I wanted to bring, this is almost out of spite though that I put this on this slide, that our transportation, the state claims, if you remember from my previous presentations, I get irked that the state says that they're going to reimburse our transportation claims at 80%, so 80 cents on the dollar. However, in the fine print of the transportation claim, they take that 4/5 and they multiply it again. Last year it was by 0.68. This year it's 0.61. So when you do the math, it comes out to be about 70% or 70 cents on the dollar rather than 80. So I'm kind of calling them out on their lie. Our federal revenue, it's currently at 8.7%. That's an 11% decrease. Our partners at the state and federal level, I said that a lot of our money comes from Title I and special ed grant and our national school lunch and breakfast programs. Right now, we still have Title II and Title IV, but partners at the state and federal level have said that we should not count on that money being here next year. And other revenue. This is kind of an oddball. It's like all other, it catches all that doesn't fit in the other columns. So this could be rental fees from using district facilities if we have rentals. It could be small local grants from banks or community organizations. And it can also be interfund transfers. Typically this happens on the last board meeting of June, and you can take the interest from certain funds, not all of them. There are rules that govern this. From certain funds, you can take that interest and put it in the fund of greatest need or the education fund, wherever it will do its greatest good. Now we're into expenses. So one of the easiest way to explain this is by the object. So what are our expenses being categorized as? Salaries, benefits, purchase services, supplies and materials, capital outlay, and other objects. And if you ever really want some great reading, and as I say with some sarcasm, you can go to the ISB website and verify this under Administrative Code 100. It's riveting. So our salaries and benefits. I've broken this down by our categories. We have teachers and instructional aides that have the most. Then we have our support services of speech, path, psychologists, guidance counselors, social workers, nurses, and the tech department. Their salaries and benefits. We have our administration costs, administrators and office staff. So secretaries are included in that figure according to the ISB budget breakdown. So salaries and benefits. Our custodian and maintenance staff are included in that category. Our transportation salaries and benefits, and our food service salaries and benefits. All total for 1,000 and 2,000 category salaries and benefits, those objects, our projected total salaries are almost $19.5 million, and benefits are projected to be $2.2 million across all funds. And I say that because most of these salaries come out of the Ed Fund. About 5% of certain categories will come out of the tort fund because they have some risky duties that we can charge the tort fund for. Our purchase services. This is a service that we cannot do on our own. We have to bring somebody else in with a certain amount of expertise to be able to do this for us. Or they do the service for us from afar, such as in education, software, our online curriculum, and professional development are most common. For operation and maintenance, I threw in the parking lot ceiling. That's something that we contract out for. And unfortunately, we do not have a dedicated HVAC person at the moment, so we have contracted an HVAC service. And oddly enough, the way that it works with our bus leases, that is a purchase service through transportation. For our expense highlights, we have supplies. Generally, this is something that you can touch, but that you're not going to keep very long. So, student Chromebooks have a lot of wear and tear. So Tyler does a really good job of refreshing them when they're needed, but they aren't counted, you don't count on them lasting more than 5 years. So they get worn out pretty quick. Our electricity and natural gas expenses are a supply, but fortunately, even though it seems that the cost of energy is going up exponentially throughout the state, we were able to lock in a 3-year supply contract with Constellation Energy last spring, which should really help us control our energy expenses. Our cost of food supplies, our utilities, our insurance, that's auto, property, liability, and workman's comp, and our transportation costs, as far as the fuel consumption, those are all considered supplies. Capital outlay. This is something you do intend to hold on to for a long time. A lot of our service vehicles and equipment we'll keep for more than 5 years. Office furniture, O&M projects that we're making physical changes to buildings. We're doing that for the long term. And our staff computer equipment. Staff generally take better care of their equipment than the students do. So we count that as a capital outlay. We have our expense totals. So this is broken down as a total of the overall budget. So you can see that salaries and benefits, our investment in our people, accounts for 71% of this coming year's budget. So we have over 500 employees. That does not count our subs in our buildings every day. That is just our everyday full-time employees of 500. So you can see that we have invested tremendously in our staff and want to make sure that they're successful, because a successful staff means we have successful students. Here I kind of break down our estimated fund balances. Where will we be at the end of the fiscal year on June 30th? So once again, these are the operation budgets of education, O&M, transportation, and working cash. So in the first column, you see where we started this year on 7/1. Then you've seen the FY26 revenue and expenses and the budgeted difference. And then you see the estimated ending balances on 6/30. So there will be a slight increase in where we should land at the end of the school year. All balanced, no deficit spending, if all goes well. And future projects, where are we going? So some of the things that we'd like to do some research on, try to make sure that we can provide for our students. We would like to look at new security cameras. Some of ours are very, very old in the district. Some work better than others, and we want to make sure that we do that responsibly. The new updated elevator or hopefully repaired wheelchair lift at Bethalto East. Those two I've tucked in to the Health Life Safety Fund, but part of the has to on that is we have to have our architect sign off and the ROE, the Regional Office of Education, agree with the architect's renderings. So those two hurdles have to be completed before we can move forward with that. That is rather routine though. Updating the sound system here in the boardroom for better communication with our stakeholders. And in that same idea, a new sign at Parkside, so as parents are picking up, dropping off, and as people are driving by, then they can communicate what's going on at school and hopefully grab our parents' attention and bring them into the school for more volunteer opportunities, helping out in the classroom, whatever the case may be, or just being aware of what's going on. Hopefully moving forward with the solar farm on Story Lane for energy conservation and financial investments. And we have BESPA contract negotiations, I believe, scheduled to begin this month. And we want to make sure that we invest in our people. So a little bit more looking forward. Financially here in the first and third one, we want to make sure that we know how to levy in December. So part of that goes with meeting with county officials here this month and trying to determine what the multiplier is on the tax bill. The multiplier, for those that don't know, that is a comparison of what the county and what the township assessor and what the state believe real property is worth in your district. So the township assessor might say one thing. If the state believes that's not high enough, they will implement a multiplier. And that can make a big difference in how we're going to levy. So we want to make sure that we get it just right. We want to make sure that we are capturing all the revenue that's supposed to come to the school district so we don't leave anything on the table. We want to continue to expand methods and sources of communication with our district families, stakeholders, and community residents. I think we do a really good job in the buildings and online. So we're trying to fill in some of the areas in between. And we need to explore opportunities to increase district revenue and reduce the reliance on the tax base as much as possible. So we need to pursue, especially the possibility on cameras, on any energy savings, maybe with the solar field, with state and federal grants, and any rebates that we can get to try to make our dollars stretch even farther. And obviously continue to increase opportunities for the community to rent district facilities, such as the ball fields at Sports Complex 1, our gym facilities, and bring in some extra revenue there. How did I do on time?
Good.
Okay. And any questions?
Yeah, the last one about grant and stuff, is there you have any kind of like specifics or is there anything? Any traction on that?
There are several opportunities. One that they're all kind of finicky on how you're going to do on the back end. Some are very, very in-depth and long. The first one that's coming to mind, just because I'm more familiar with it, is the COPS grant. It's a federal grant that you can use. However, it is very involved, and just because you fill out the paperwork doesn't mean you're going to get it. So, I think by broadening our search, having a big net, maybe we won't get the biggest one, but maybe we'll get a couple small ones. So I know I'm not really answering your question, Mr. Zimmerman, but I want to try to not say something not true, if that makes sense.
One thing we're looking at, Dallas, Chris mentioned the COPS grant. I know Triad School District hired a third party to actually write the grant because the company that wrote it said if they weren't successful in getting it, they would write it again the following year for free. And so I know a couple of school districts who have done that now for camera updates and things like that. So that is something that we're actually looking at potentially writing for. It doesn't happen until like the second semester, but it would be for the upcoming, the 26-27 school year. It's that long out.
Is technology fund federal fund? Technology actually
So this would be, I think I know what you mean, but this would be more, like, we would be looking at that for cameras. They used it for, what did they use it for?
They used it for cameras, doors, and
Security upgrades.
yes, cameras, doors, and I think they skipped on some of it because you can't spend, like you have to wait for the grant to come in, and anything you spend before that, you're on your own for. So they picked a smaller project that they could fully fund themselves, and then this next school year they're going through and using the full $500,000. So it is substantial funds.
There's the maintenance grant through the state of Illinois, which is a matching grant. We write for that every single year. So it's a $50,000 grant and it's matching. So we'll use that sometimes for maintenance projects around the school district. That's something we do every year. What other questions? What was your, as far as technology, I mean, there's not really a solid revenue stream for that are you talking about through the states?
through the state or yeah. I just
We might just have to
recall
dig in and look into it.
working with talk about
Okay.
especially on the AI. Especially
Oh, the AI stuff.
how you would use them resources as far as seeing that as an option. Those federal funds.
It'll be interesting. I think Illinois is going to come out with some AI policy in January, or they're supposed to. It will be interesting to see if dollars follow, to your point. I know. So, maybe at the federal level.
Any other questions on the release?
adjourn the budget meeting.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Kirby?
Yes.
Richard? Yes. Sermon? Yes. Potter? Yes. Rosie? Yes. Martin?
Yes. I need a motion to approve the minutes of August 28th, 2025, open and closed session meeting minutes. Need a second. Roll call.
Kirby? Yes. Richard?
Yes.
Zimmerman?
Yes.
Potter? Yes. Rosie? Yes. Martin?
Yes. A motion to pay the bills.
Motion.
Roll call.
Kirby?
Yes.
Richard? Yes. Zimmerman?
Yes.
Potter? Yes. Rosie? Yes. Martin?
Yes. Informational items. Constitution Day essay.
Yes, we just held Constitution Day. The entire nation did, actually. And I have our Constitution Day winner, Rainy Garza. Come on up. She got her official certificate at our last SOAR assembly. She's not a one-time winner. She is a two-time winner by the Social Studies Department. And she's just a fabulous young lady, and nothing fair. She had a teacher just the other day said when she walks through my classroom, she just makes me feel better. That's the type of person she is. So she is going to read her essay or to get a picture with you all afterwards.
Good evening. So the question for my essay was, why is the U.S. Constitution called the Supreme Law of the Land? The U.S. Constitution is discussed often, but few people know why it's referred to as the Supreme Law of the Land. To understand why, we have to know what the U.S. Constitution is to us. The Constitution was written in 1787, then ratified in 1788, and enforced starting in 1789. The structure is as follows: the preamble, 7 articles, and 27 amendments. The U.S. Constitution is important because it separates the government into 3 branches: legislative, executive, and judicial. The U.S. Constitution is a huge part of the U.S. government and rights as Americans. All laws must follow the Constitution. If found unconstitutional, it cannot be a law. Why is the Constitution called the Supreme Law of the Land? This term, Supreme Law of the Land, comes from Article 6 in the U.S. Constitution. The U.S. Constitution puts limitations on the government to protect fundamental rights of the people. This helps to make sure that the government does not have too much power. Some argue that because of Article 6, the supremacy law clause causes confusion because the supremacy applies to all laws and treaties, not just the U.S. Constitution. This statement is misleading because the structure of the document was formulated to create a balance between the national and state government. The supreme law should have power, just not an unwelcome amount. To conclude, the U.S. Constitution is called the Supreme Law of the Land because it reigns over all government and is a guideline for all laws and rights.
You want to sit there?
CMHS Student Council update.
Good evening, Board of Education members and guests. This month was filled with lots of student activities, and we have a lot more on their way. Starting off, September is National Attendance Awareness Month, and Civic has been really embracing it. To kick off this month, September 8th through the 12th, we had a week full of themed days for students to participate in. Then, last Friday, we had our first SOAR assembly. In that assembly, the classes who had 90% or better attendance got to dye some of our admin's hair. It was a great way to motivate the students at CM to maintain their attendance. On Friday, we also had our second Friendship Friday, which our new assistant principal, Mr. Meyer, introduced to our school. And every Friday, you get to take a photo with a prop that acts as a picture frame with a person from the school that you have never talked to before. And this helps students get to know one another and get a little more out of their comfort zone. Now, here are some highlights of CM Sports this month. Starting off with girls volleyball team, their players have been getting all kinds of recognition for their outstanding performances. Addie Jeffrey and Abby Bruckner winning all-tournament team at Montgomery County Invite, and Caitlin Ogden being August Athlete of the Month. An exciting upcoming event for volleyball is their Pink Night tomorrow evening at 7 p.m., so make sure you show up. Cross country has been going strong and has been pretty successful during their last few meets. Running in Granite, the cross team finished third overall, having 3 medalists. Then at Edwardsville Invitational, Olivia Wiley medaled, Max Weber finished first, and our top 7 boy runners all medaled. Then at their most recent race in Freeburg, Olivia medaled again, finishing 25th, and the boys took first in Freeburg at the Freeburg Invitational. Girls golf has been pounding the stone recently, and the girls have won 5 of their matches so far. Junior Mariana Silva medaling in their first tournament, and senior Addison Lilly winning all-conference team. And their regionals will be this Tuesday. Football has been showing hard work and dedication through their season, having their first win towards the beginning of this month against Wood River and holding their own against Triad. Marching band received 4th in the Class 1A at Metro East Marching Classic, and Unified Sports had a great start to their season on September 6th with their first practice. They practice every Saturday, and their sectionals will be later in October. Lastly, CM is kicking off Homecoming Week this Sunday, October 5th, with our annual Powder Puff game. Then we have Homecoming Week full of themed days where students really show up and show out. On Friday, October 10th, we will have our own Homecoming Parade where all of Bethalto shuts down to support our community. The Homecoming Coronation and dance will take place the following day, October 11th, and this year's theme is Grease Lightning. Thank you for your time, and I can't wait to update you next month on the many fun activities Civic has planned. Yes. Okay, it will be October 26th, I believe, but I'll confirm.
Like, what is it?
It will be, I think it's in...
What did you guys do? So Unified Bowling is when you guys came.
Yes, and then we have practices, which it's just 12:30 to 1:30, and we have a partner, and we do like a whole game of bowling, and then we really don't have any games, so we just have practices every Saturday, and then our big game is like our sectional, and it will be in Belleville East, I believe. Or West, I forget, but
I presented on Unified Bowling as part of it, like an extension of our Special Olympics program, and so I knew you were there involved. But I heard the first one was super successful, so
it's going really great. Everybody's really getting involved, so it's very exciting.
And Mackenzie forgot one thing in her report. Our DAR recipient for leadership and community service, our very own Mackenzie Zimmerman.
Thank you.
I had that planned out all day.
Strippy Middle School.
Hello. For those of you who do not know me, I'm William Whitaker, and I'm the president at Trimpe Middle School Student Council. Starting off the year, I'm super excited to have the opportunity to help develop new student leaders in our school. So far, we have had about 100 students show up to our meetings, and I'm very grateful to have so many interested in leadership. We are finishing up our World's Finest Chocolate fundraiser right now, and I could not be more proud to say that we ran out of boxes after just 10 days. During the fundraiser, I had a little incentive for the students that if someone sold 30 boxes of chocolate, I would shave my head, and they were all super enthusiastic about that. But sadly, they came up a little bit short. Obviously, I have hair right now. Aside from that, we are thrilled to announce that our first dance of the year will be themed Just Dance, modeled after the video game. Everyone is happy about that, and I'm so excited to help lead the preparations. I'm confident that it will be an amazing experience for everyone. Furthermore, I am proud of all the student council members. I cannot wait to get to work and spend more time with them, and I am so happy with the young leaders I see in each and every one of them. Lastly, something that is very important to me is community outreach. I would like to do something in the community within these next few months because I believe that leadership is largely about helping people to be their best selves. I was thinking somewhat along the lines of the bingo at Villa Rose event that we did as a council last year, and I believe it was an excellent experience to speak with some of the elderly people and bring a little more happiness to their day.
I haven't used up all my words, so. One thing I did want to highlight, I submitted my written report to the board, but one thing I did want to highlight was working with VESPA at the beginning of the month. There was something that I was not aware of, and the board brought it to my attention as far as the pay statements, I guess, had not been sent out for over a year, and I did not know that hourly pay was not on the annualized pay statements. So she let me know that, and we worked together and made sure that we got the calendar out for each category, and that we got pay statements out for each category. It was great teamwork, and I just really wanted to say thank you to her because it was just bringing it to my attention and all the help that she gave me and let me know what was expected.
Thank you. We really appreciate it.
That's all I have.
Sure. So, Jill and McKinsey kind of stole a little bit of what I was going to talk about. I was the faculty person on Saturday for Unified Bowling. It was a great time. We have some really wonderful students who are just naturally able to interact with our students with disabilities. And I feel like they're future special education teachers. So, including McKinsey, I'm pressuring her big time. So it was just really heartwarming. A lot of parents stayed and chatted, and it was a great time. Today I was at Meadowbrook. We're starting off all of our special education benchmark meetings. It's a wonderful time to talk about students, generate ideas. Our title teachers also come. So we really look at student growth. We look at students who may be not progressing like we want, and so we brainstorm ideas. And it's just a wonderful time just to make sure that our teachers have everything they need to educate our students, and that our students are progressing, at different levels, of course. So, like I said, today was the first day, but we'll be making our rounds through the building. So it's a great time, and our special education teachers at wonderful. Can't say enough good things about it. That's it.
Well, I'm not used to going first. Usually Easton Parkside are ahead of me, but they're gone. So, Jen stole a little bit of my thunder about benchmark meetings. It was a great day just to see all the progress students are making with the hard work that our staff are putting in and pouring into our kids. I cannot believe we're at the end of September and we are only a couple weeks from the end of first quarter. Wow, it is fast and furious. We got our first good behavior assembly. So what our students have to do, they earn hero cards, which are kind of like copying good. And once the whole building reaches 100, they get to go and celebrate. We had a water balloon toss. That was a lot of fun. It was a hot day. Teachers were involved. I think Mrs. School was actually the winner of that one. So it's super exciting. Kids every morning get to recognize them. We have our blood drive coming up October 6th at Meadowbrook. If you'd like to come out and help with that. I have to give a big shout out to our custodians. It's National Custodian Day on Thursday, I believe. They are, Miss Lorna, if you don't know her, she's on this day, but she does anything and everything. Hard worker. She doesn't always, she not only keeps our school clean, but she loves on kids and makes connections with kids. So it's every person in that building is what we need. Our paras, our PLT supervision, they meet every other week. And they have really found some ways to motivate kids and come together and reward them, right? They saw an issue at recess, they come together, empowers them, they teach in the moment. They're giving out rewards for good behavior. It's just exciting to see them lead on those unstructured settings. Sometimes can be difficult, so I have to give a big shout out to them. Also, we kicked off our student advisory, our first meeting. This year we extended it to 4th grade as well, so we have some 4th graders on the team, and they are super excited. I think every single one of them wanted to sign up for Mindful Moment, which we do morning meeting. Camden Fair, if you saw that on social media, he did a fantastic job. He got out there, did his Mindful Moment. They are getting ready to set up our next assembly, but it's super exciting to see leaders even at 4th and 5th grade. Like they are so cool. But like I said, we're only with benchmarks and it's hard to believe we are almost so things are rocking and rolling and going well at Meadowbrook.
All right, just a couple shout outs in addition to the board report. We started Eagles Reading Program 2 years ago, and Susie Moore has really done a great job taking over after Zach Levy left, and she has solicited so many donations. Kendra Scott jewelry, Cardinals tickets, Six Flags tickets, mini fridges, like big ticket items that the kids are going to be really excited about. And when students earn enough raffle tickets, they can put it in the box for a chance to win these awesome prizes. So shout out to her, she's doing an excellent job, she's super organized. And then our recycling team, we now have a recycle bin outside of Trinity, which we haven't had for quite a few years. And so Melanie Reinke and Nikki Starks are in charge of the EC program, that's our Extended Curriculum Special Education program, and those students will be in charge of the recycling committee. And so they partnered with Madison County Green Schools, and so we're really excited about that. And every classroom now has a recycling bin, and the students will begin putting the recycling, collecting it as part of their day, putting it in the recycling bin. Shout out to Mr. Stratton for calling around and getting us a recycling bin. It was quite the task. And he did a great job finding one, and he also made sure it was a little bit shorter so some of our students would be able to place the items in to the recycle bin, so it's not as tall as a regular trash can. So, and there's also a poster contest that's going to be held in a couple weeks for the recycling bin. So, thank you.
Yes, like Mrs. North said, Thursday is National Custodian Day, and what are we talking about? I'm sorry I have to get into this. So, if you've never followed around the custodians, please do so. I cannot brag about them enough. And, you know, all the after-school events, they were texting me over there just a second, you know, because it is a lively place. And they do so much for us that they do deserve the recognition. And as Mackenzie mentioned, last Friday was our first SOAR assembly where we celebrate student success, academics, attendance, behavior, and all that. And I just want to put it so that you truly understand our goal at a school is a 95% pass rate in our classes. But with the hard work of our teachers, our paraprofessionals, everybody in the building, our 9th and 12th graders currently have a 99% pass rate, which is unheard of. And our 10th and 11th grade students have a 98% pass rate. And you might ask, why do you track these numbers? Because that goes with our Illinois State report card, freshman on track, graduation rate. And our 98% graduation rate is one of the highest in the state. And it's those dedicated people that are constantly working that make that possible. Plus, we have 2 new systems that we're quite proud of. Our intervention teachers are running what's called lunch study this year, and this focuses primarily on 9th and 10th graders. So if they're struggling academically, we'll pull them in for some tutoring help and some intervention during that time. Plus, after school, we have tutoring going on with our interventionist and a certified English teacher. But this year, sometimes it's hard for students to walk up to tutoring by themselves, right? So this year, we're reaching out to the student and parent, setting up that relationship, and that is going really well. And that's why I think that we're seeing some of these numbers in addition to the great things that our teachers and paras and everybody are doing on a daily basis. Second, we celebrated our attendance. And you know, attendance, it was up there on our district mission and vision and guiding principles. And our 9th and 12th grade had 89% attendance to start the school year out. But the threshold was 90%. And 10th and 11th grade hit that 90%. And so I just went to Walgreens looking for hair dye. They only had 2 choices, blue and purple, and Mr. Jarman, his was hideous blue. And then Mr. Meyer had the purple, and they got it on the skin. I said it will come off in 1 wash. That's if you hit the hair and not the neckline, FYI, in case you want to know.
They're dander free. They've scrubbed so much. But what do those numbers really mean? If you look at like the statewide average, it's about 75% attendance. So our students are doing really, really well to kick off. We want of our students to be successful. They have to be at school. And third, we gave our Horizons assessment, which kind of targets the ACT. It's pre-practice. They now call it progress learning. And to be quite honest, we're reluctantly hopeful because our test scores came back way higher than normal. But they've adjusted the test, so that's always concerning. But our teachers have been putting in a lot of new systems and approaches with our students, so we really think it's paying off. So we have a lot to be proud at Civic this month. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, just a couple updates since I submitted my report. We're progressing through replacing our main building network switches. We currently have Meadowbrook and Parkside are on new switches. We're going through building network complexity, getting the easier ones done first. Hopefully, ultimately culminating the main district network switch, which has been in place since 2014. Replaced over Columbus Day weekend. That, of course, does require taking the network down, so it'll be depending on district scheduling stuff if there's events going on. Working through that. I did very, very late Friday get back a second bid for sound system for this room. It was half of the first one, which was great. So I'm going through making sure that everything we're looking for is covered, and then I'll send that to the board once I go through with the vendor, make sure everything's in.
Bill. Yeah, just a quick shout out to my maintenance guys, mainly Johnny. With all this water going on, the building called me, and I would say probably within 30 minutes, they've got 12, 15, 20 cases of water, so I don't think, if it happens, I don't know about it, I don't think anybody hasn't brought out water, and they always have water on. Shout out to you.
Bill did a great job this weekend. His daughter got married, and he gave one of the most heartfelt speeches I've ever heard, and he did a fantastic job. He tried keeping it together, but his beautiful daughter, Taylor was married on Saturday night, and so he gave a perfect speech after ceremony and just did a great job. So it's great to see him in that capacity and have that first dance. He does not like public speaking, and he told them that I make him do this every month. That's my turn. Okay. I was thinking this Sunday. I was like, I thought I had one more week, but it is actually this Sunday. I'm like, how is it October already? The school year is flying by. I'm afraid the business of October is going to be just like September because, as you know, we're going to roll right into homecoming next week after the Powder Puff game, and then homecoming, the parade, our favorite time of year, and then it's going to be the middle of October already. And like this year is just flying by. So, you know, we talked about our custodians, but one thing I want to make sure our new board members know is every year in February, the Regional Office of Education comes in and they do compliance visits in every single school. And every year, without fail, we get compliments from the Regional Office of Education about the cleanliness of our schools and how well our custodians take care of them. And you have to think about February, we're more than halfway through the school year, in fact, we're almost 3/4 of the way through the school year, and they still look fantastic. So when you guys are talking about your specific custodians earlier, I just want to give a shout out across the district because they take such pride in what our buildings look like, and it shows when you have people who come in from the outside and every single time we get compliments on how clean our buildings are. So we invest in our buildings, we take care of our buildings, but we continue to maintain them, and I think that's important as well. So I just wanted to give them a public shout out. Eagle Eye discussions, some positive feedback has come from those conversations last year, especially at the 6 through 12 level. Attendance at the K-5 was not as strong. So what we're going to do this year is a little bit of a tweak. We're going to put all of the K-5 Eagle Eye discussions into one night. There are some things we discussed, the 3 elementary principals and Jenna, Melissa, and I, that do overlap. So all of them will meet on October 27th at Parkside. So that's the K through 5 Eagle Eye discussion, and that's at 5:30. The Eagle Eye discussion, I'm going to work backwards chronologically. For CM is October 20th at 6 p.m. and then October 16th at Trinity at 5:30 p.m. So we'll be doing another round of those. For those of you who aren't sure, the Eagle Eye Discussions is an opportunity for us to invite our families in. We invite our staff in, and our principals do a little presentation kind of going over the individual building data, and then it's an opportunity for lots of discussion. And so, like I said, last year we had a lot of positive feedback from those, and some positive things came from them. One of the things that came out of Laura's, our trippies, was the safety in the parking lot issue that I think we knew was an issue, but I don't think we realized how bad it had gotten. And some of the parents spoke up that night, and it was a really, it wasn't exactly well received in the beginning, but we feel like our students are much safer walking in and out of middle school now, and so that is a direct effect of the Eagle Eye Discussions. One thing that Chris touched on at my legislative meeting on September 5th, I think I put that in my board report, and that way there were lots of local legislators, but our legislators that were in attendance were Erica Harris, Amy Ellick, and Katie Stewart. And they were there, and we were talking about, as they head into the General Assembly and they head into session here coming up, we put things on their radar that we want them to look out for public schools. And one of the things that came up that Chris touched on was MCATs. So MCATs are transportation. It's your mandated categorical payments. It's your transportation, special ed, nutrition, and one more. CTE. It's those programs, our vocational funding. And so he talked about the fact that we're only receiving 70 cents on the dollar right now in transportation and reimbursement. And one of the things that we have to do as a district is use our evidence-based funding and divert those funds into transportation to make sure that fund stays afloat. So it is an issue, and while our state is funding public education, they continue to put $350 million annually into the evidence-based funding formula. They're not funding the MCATs, is what we call them. And so that was a concern that we brought forward to our legislators. And then last week, the state superintendent, he met with all of us and talked about the fact that it's on their radar as well. They realize that, you're giving us evidence-based funding, but we're diverting $600,000 of that in order to keep transportation afloat. So they understand they're not really completely funding schools. And so that is something that I know is on the state superintendent's radar, and it is on our legislators' radar heading into session, which is good news for public schools, and hopefully they can make some adjustments with that. Because again, if you think about every dollar that you're spending in transportation, you're only reimbursed at 70 cents. It's a significant shortfall every single year. The other thing, and I want to compliment, Justin helps me with this sometimes at the building level, but this is a great opportunity for us to share some of the bills that come out of session are not always things that work for this part of the state, and so we have to speak up and we have to advocate. I know I've advocated, and Justin has as well. Angie Nielsen was on a panel with me a year and a half ago about the foreign language bill. So one of the bills that they're trying to pass is requiring all students that are freshmen and sophomores to take at least 1 year of foreign language. And one thing they'd like to understand is not everybody needs to take foreign language, first of all. And second of all, we have limited resources. For us to go out and find another foreign language teacher right now is very challenging. And so when you do that, you take resources away. So if the child is in Spanish 4, now we may not be able to offer Spanish 4 because all of our teachers are teaching Spanish 1 and 2 to all of the students at CM, even those that don't necessarily need it. The other thing that it does, and why Angie was on that panel with me, is it impacts our TTE and our classes, our career pathways, and our classes that kids get to actually choose. And so we've been really working on that. Amy Ellick has her ear, Katie Stewart is involved. They're very engaged in the conversation, and we appreciate them listening. Like I said, he worked with the lobbyists for the Illinois Principals Association. I worked with the lobbyists for the Illinois Superintendent, or the Illinois Association of School Administrators. But it's important for us all to advocate for the needs of our school district, because while that may work north of I-80, it's not going to work south of I-80, and it's even harder on rural school districts because who's going to teach these classes? And then when we teach them to all of our students who are freshmen and sophomores, a lot of times the kids who want 3 and 4 years of foreign language aren't able to get it. So that's just one example of why it's important to lobby and to talk to your legislators and just stay engaged in the conversation. And so I'm hopeful that one of the solutions that they're coming up with that we've been talking to Representative Ellick about is potentially using the CTE courses to meet that requirement, or them allowing us to use other classes that would actually fulfill the 2 years of foreign language requirement. We're hopeful that gets some traction in this session, but it's definitely something we have on our radar and we have concerns with. So just touching base on those 2 things. And then finally, something that I just learned about at the regional superintendent's meeting is Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. Have you guys heard of this? It is so cool. So Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, I didn't know this, but her father was illiterate. And so one of the things that she's doing is a flagship program with the Dolly Wood Foundation. It's a 501c3 program where all students in a school district, birth to 5, would receive a book every single month, because we understand the importance of early literacy and putting books in the hands of our children. So the way it works is the foundation supplements some of the funding, and then we have to find local resources to fund the other half of it. So for our school districts, it's like $3,871. And so we have to come up with $3,871 in order to cover the other half of it for the first 2 years. But what this does is every month a kid birth to 5 gets a book in their mailbox. It looks something like this, and then it has pointers for the parents. You know, a new parent doesn't necessarily know what he or she should be doing, and it talks about, well, what's appropriate for age 1, what's appropriate for ages 1 to 2, ages 2 to 3, and getting books in the hands of our children prior to them coming to school. And so I learned about this, and it's something that the superintendents and the public libraries in Madison County are working together on to get funded. Christy Baumgartner is leading it up in our county. And then I had a meeting last week with Mary Brewster from the Bethalto Library. And so I'm hopeful my friend Brett Helker over there and some of his media club students will help me make a video. And then I'm coming to Educators Rising, and we're going to put some cute little kids on film and try to beg some people for money. So I just need about $800. We'll take your students and we'll go down to pre-K. Okay. So, but it's birth to 3 or birth to 5, and every kid gets a book every single month. And so I think it's a great program. It's really exciting, and then it's a matching situation. So we come up with some of the money, and she'll come up with the rest. And it's something our entire county is working collectively towards, and I'm excited about it. So the Imagination Library, when it needs some help, I have no video skills, not nearly like you do. So anyway, more to come on that. That's all I got.
Okay. I will take any public comment on the action items. Okay. I need to review and approve personnel actions. Trinity Weaver, pre-K paraprofessional, default fees. Jaden Huston, pre-K paraprofessional, default fees. Katarina Jackson, special ed paraprofessional, TMS. Kara Livingston, special ed paraprofessional, Parkside. Sherry Stillwell, floating paraprofessional. Hannah Clark, floating paraprofessional. Madeline Wolfel, special ed paraprofessional, Parkside. Carlton Davis, special education paraprofessional, Parkside. Rebecca Mayfield, pre-K paraprofessional, Bethalto East. Sandy Hall, school monitor. Deanna Stewart, school monitor. Latanya Chapman, school monitor. Alyssa Hiley-Bonnell, bus driver. Alyssa Hiley-Bonnell, school monitor. Layla Gleason, custodian, CMHS. Angela Alsman, custodian, CMHS. Jessica Parmentier, nurse, Middlebrook. Non-certified hours change. Faith Sanford, custodian, administration CM changed from 4 to 6 hours. Non-certified leave of absence. Alan Morris, custodian, floating. Caitlin Smith, special ed paraprofessional. Non-certified resignations. Sophie Daniels, special ed paraprofessional, TMS. Megan Prophet, special ed pre-K paraprofessional, Bethalto East. Autumn Greenberg, special ed pre-K paraprofessional, Bethalto East. Trinity Weaver, school monitor, Bethalto East. Bev Klein, bus monitor. Exempt hires, Kylie Lawrence, Beyond the Bell worker, Bethalto East District. Reagan Twinney, Beyond the Bell worker, Bethalto East District. Exempt resignations, Jaden Husband, Beyond the Bell worker. Trinity Weaver, Beyond the Bell worker. Extracurricular, Bruce Higgins, boys head tennis coach, CMHS. Volunteers, extracurricular. Joshua Perrine, esports volunteer. Extracurricular resignations, Jacob Book, assistant esports, CMHS. I need a motion for that.
Motion.
Sorry. Roll call.
Kirby?
Yes.
Pritchett?
Yes.
Zimmerman?
Yes.
Potter?
Yes.
Rothy? Yes. Miser?
Yes. I need a motion to review and approve the Bethalto Community Unit School District Number 8 budget for 25-26. Roll call.
Kirby?
Yes.
Pritchett?
Yes.
Zimmerman?
Yes.
Potter?
Yes.
Rothy? Yes. Miser?
Yes. I need a motion to review and approve the October 10th Institute Day agenda.
Was it?
We're good. It was in the packet. That's
Yeah.
all I was saying. You're good. Second.
Roll call.
Kirby?
Yes.
Pritchett?
Yes.
Zimmerman?
Yes.
Potter? Rothy? Yes. Miser?
Yes. I need a motion to review and approve the foreign language trip to the Alps and Mediterranean coast, June 22nd through July 2nd, 2026. The board gets to go on this too, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a great trip. It's about 10 days. I think we have almost 30 people signed up for high school, including me. I will be going this year. I'm excited, so I will report back to the board. It'll be in my board report for you. So. But Mrs. Wood has been leading this charge for quite some time. She does an excellent job of organizing the activity for all the kids.
I will make a motion. Second.
Roll call.
Kirby?
Yes.
Pritchett?
Yes.
Zimmerman?
Yes.
Potter? Yes. Rothy? Yes. Miser?
Yes. I need a motion to review and approve the updated parent-student handbooks.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Kirby?
Yes.
Pritchett?
Yes.
Zimmerman?
Yes.
Potter? Rothy? Yes. Miser?
Yes. I need a motion to review and approve an agreement with a middle school teacher for separation from employment.
Second.
Roll call.
Kirby?
Yes.
Pritchett?
Yes.
Zimmerman?
Yes.
Potter? Rothy? Yes. Miser?
Yes. Okay, I need a motion to review and approve the first reading of board policies. 110, school district legal status. 120, district organization, operations, and cooperative agreements. 130, school district philosophy. 210, school district governance. 265, Title IX grievance procedure. 280, board member oath and conduct. 130, board superintendent relationship. 240, board policy development. 210E1, exhibit guidelines for serving as a mentor to a new Board of Education member. 120E2, exhibit website listing, development, and training completed by board members. 240E1, exhibit press issue updates. 240E2, exhibit developing local policy. 330, chain of command. 450, payment procedures. 490, student activity and fiduciary funds. 4180, pandemic preparedness management and recovery. 520E, resolution to prohibit sexual harassment. 5270, employment at will, compensation and assignment. 740, part-time attendance by non-public school students. 750, school admissions and student transfers to and from non-district schools new. 790, release during school hours. 7130, student rights and responsibilities. 7300, extracurricular athletics. 7325, student fundraising activities. 880, gifts to the district. 8110, public suggestions and concerns. Again, this is a first reading, so I need a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Kirby?
Aye.
Pritchett?
Yes.
Zimmerman?
Yes.
Potter? Rosie, yes. Miser.
Yes. Okay, now discussion items. Report from the IEPA regarding the village water.
Sure. So I forwarded Representative Ellick and Representative Harris were involved in the water issues in Bethalto. And I know they reached out to the IEPA, which is the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency. They came on site multiple times and tested the district's water. And I sent the report to you. We are good. Our water is clean. I'll read exactly what it says. It says all IEPA testing to date, both at the water treatment plant and in the residential locations. And on a different document, it specifically lists our schools as testing sites. But on this it says has confirmed that the drinking water meets all state and federal water quality standards. No exceedances have been found, and for other parameters that were tested, including lead, copper, iron, and coliform. The IEPA will continue monitoring previously tested locations and welcomes any additional information with residents of concern. And so at this point in time, I'm recommending to the board that we go back to using our water fountains again, and we go back to using district water in our kitchens starting as early as tomorrow. And we get out of this water business for a while. Obviously, the water is back to the appropriate color. One thing that we were in the middle of, and Sam and I talked about this, we were in the middle of installing filters whenever the first week of school, if you recall, but the brown tint was seeping through the filters, so we stopped that because we did not want to waste all of those filters because the water continued to be brown. So at this point in time, we'll go back and install those filters for the water drinking portion of the fountain. Is that what that's called? The bottled water portion of that. And so we'll put those filters on those and then we'll be good to go. But my recommendation is we go back to using our own water. We have obviously documentation from the powers that be that our water is safe for drinking and safe for consumption. So, sure.
Is there like a plan in place to monitor this on a weekly, daily, whatever, so that we're being proactive and we're not going to just be reactive when something comes up and says, hey, my water is brown. I see my brown water.
Right. I mean, what we'll continue to do, our custodians are usually the first ones in the buildings. And so they reach out to Bill Stratton whenever they notice that the water is brown. And so what we'll do is we'll keep some water here on site. And if for some reason it is, we can pivot back to using the Culligan water because we have some in our buildings. And then obviously we would bring bottled water in.
I was my curiosity is that we're being proactive and checking ourselves and not waiting for someone to find it.
Sure. And then it says also, and I know you heard this, but the IEPA is going to continue to monitor our locations as well. So they'll be monitoring, and then to your point, Dallas will be monitoring as well.
So the IEPA goes to specific schools in our district?
Mm-hmm. They did. They tested several schools in our district, along with other places in the village, and they tested it on, I think, three different dates. They tested on 8/28 was the first round, 9/3 was the second round, and then round 2 was on September 3rd, and then round 3 was on September 11th. Round 2 was over the 3rd and the 4th. But they go to several locations within the village, and our schools are listed on those all of those locations.
Turnaround time is
Yes. Yes.
So everybody's final?
Are you guys comfortable with that?
Okay.
All right.
This is all right.
That's it.
Well, I'll take any public comment at all.
I'd like to ask, Justin, could you expand on that Friendly Friday that was brought, did I have it right? The kids with the pictures of the people, did they have it meant yet? I mean,
Yeah, I'll turn it over to Mr. Meyer. He's the brainchild behind it.
So actually,
They won that tournament.
yeah, we won 6-5. Doesn't matter. You guys heard about it, but So yeah, a big thing for me was I think a lot of people like to sit back and let life happen to them, and so it was important for me that our students understood that being friendly and being likable and being kind is, you start that's a domino effect that'll go on forever. So Miss Tomir made the banner, the Friendship Friday banner, and so I implore students to find someone they don't know, because every day as I walk through lunch, I kind of inspired it as well. Everybody sits at the same table. Delaney sits, I sit by her, I go talk to her. She sits by the same couple friends, and everybody sits at the same table, and you get in that little clique, and you get locked in. And so I wanted people to hang out with someone that they don't have a club with, they don't have a class with, and they don't play a sport with. And so the first Friday of the month, I'm going to give out cookies. So the first one where you saw most of the pictures from, people wanted a cookie. So you got a free cookie if you found some people, took a picture with them. And if you didn't know anything else about them, you at least knew, I took a picture with them once, and you ask for a pencil, and then you never know. And I was asking kids, like, how do you know this person? They're like, I don't know. I just kind of spawned in here one day, and there they were, So it was just an initiative that I wanted to grow, and it's kind of by the seat of my pants. I'm new at a lot of stuff right now and figuring it out, but it's been fun. And so kids are doing it. So, of course, yeah, every Friday. This Friday, I asked for more cookies from the cafe. Today, it takes them some time to bake them. I didn't realize. They're like, "Are you trying to give us a heart attack?" I'm like, "We can dial it back and come back later." But yeah, it's going to continue. And I was telling someone earlier, it's amazing if you tell the kids to be good people, they do it. It's like you think it's so novel, it comes easily to some, but yeah, they crave that. So yeah, we're excited. Yeah, thank you.
Just add real quick for that one. So my media class, we made some videos for them, and that was so we invited the special ed kids into our room and paired them up. And so my kids with the recording equipment went out and interviewed and met the special ed kids and hung out for a little while and made these videos. That has been the best project ever. Like they got done with the recordings and like they were still hanging out. They took some of them in the radio booth and showed them how to get on air. They took a couple of kids, went to the cafe, they bought them coffees and all kinds of stuff, probably way too much sugar. Yeah, it has been one of the best activities for my video class. They keep bringing it up, like when we have the kids come back and do another event or something. So, applause to you guys. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you to Terry Aker. I would be remiss if I didn't thank him for the donations. That man is texting and always out looking for additional water donations, bottled water donations for our school district, and he has championed the cause for us. And so he hates it when I do this, but I would be remiss if I didn't publicly thank Terry Aker. He's on the county board, and he's invested a ton of time and effort in making sure that our water, for the most part, has been donated. And we really appreciate that because it was getting expensive quickly, and that helped offset those costs. So I just want to thank Terry Aker before you adjourn this meeting.
Anything else? Okay.
So, did I understand you right to say that for the reading program for the Valley Partner Community is 3,800 and that would last for 2 years?
That's correct. For our school district, they calculated, they have births, so they know how many kiddos we have in our area. And I need 3,871, and then they'll match that in order to count for the first 2 years, so that every child in our district will get a book in their mailbox until they're 5 years old. And that's why I'm going to get my Educators Rising kids to maybe do a babysitting night with me or something. I'm going to go beg, because I'm like, we can raise some money, and I think get the books in the kids and the hands of our littles, and I mean our pre-K kids. I'm like, we could put some cute little faces on those videos. I know you can help me out. People will feel bad if they don't give us money.
You can do babysitting while the parents go Christmas shopping.
Well, but they do that already. So I was like, I know, you don't have to do it. I'll do it with them. I know.
It was a scary night. There's a reason I teach high school, but I would do it.
I'm going to come beg because I need some help. So.
Without hesitation.
I'm going to tell them I'll write them a letter of recommendation. They'll do it with me.
There you go. Then they do it.
Yes. Got to give them something. So yes. Isn't that cool though? I think it's so exciting for our kids.
All right, I need a motion to adjourn. All in favor?